Okay, so earlier today I came up with an idea for something that I thought would be rather interesting. Um, and by the way, the TV's right there. So anyway, I thought I was watching a lot of movies or videos on YouTube about gay stuff, like coming out and um, those kinds of things, and also about their relationships with their family and stuff. And I thought I would talk a little bit about mine because I've never officially told my parents that I was gay, and I am kind of like 93.5% sure that they know. Um, and I figured I might just give some of the reasons why I think they might know and see what people have to say about it. So some of the evidence that they do and some of the evidence that they don't. Um, and maybe someone will actually watch it and interesting things to say or insights. But so it'll probably be really long because I've done a lot of crap in the last few years. Um, so if you're not interested, then just I guess stop watching. But a lot of these videos are tend to be pretty long, or they seem like they are. So I decided that I was gay. Well, not decided, but I realized that I was gay when I was a sophomore in college, and it happened at the very beginning of the semester. And I came out to my roommates and um, kind of became comfortable with the whole idea before I came home. And I spent the summer at home with my parents. And since I had come out to like most of the people at my school that I knew that were close to me. So like on a daily basis, I didn't really tend to hide anything. So when I came home for the summer, I was not used to having to kind of like censor myself. So I would like go to the mall with my parents, and like a hot guy'd walk by, and I would just like turn and watch, or do something really stupid stuff like that that was really blatantly obvious. And I don't think they noticed too much, but there was other little things that I would do, um, and I can't remember what year it was, but there was a year that I was single and sick of it. And I was living with my parents for the summer, and I would want to go out with random, not random, but like guys that I had been talking to online or um, through the hookup sites, but I was never into the hookup thing. Just like I would have to talk to someone for like a couple weeks before I would be willing to go anywhere or do anything with them, like meet them or anything. So, but I had been talking to like one or two guys um, that we were kind of becoming friends, and they're like, hey, we should meet. And so I didn't have a car, and it was a little difficult at times explaining why these guys that my mom had never heard of um, were coming over, and we'd spend the whole day together, and then we'd do that like once or twice, a couple days apart, and then all of a sudden, like she'd never hear about them again, uh, and then like I wouldn't really want to talk about them, and so that had to be suspicious when you're at home living with your parents without a car and you're going on gay dates. Um, I think that was pretty kind of obvious, and for a while I was dating someone that was at my school, and like we didn't live together, but I was over there like all the time, spending the night and doing like things that you don't usually do for friends, like cleaning their whole apartment, or like you're I guess just friends with someone. I don't think you really go out to dinner with them like every day or have dinner over there all the time, or kind of do some of the stuff that we did that I told her that we did. Um, So that was a little maybe suspicious for my parents, I guess. Um, I know one of the specific cases where I did something that she that almost was like just basically outing myself. Um, I was at my parents' house, and my door basically leads kind of into the kitchen, and it's a really old door, and it's a solid door, and it was originally not in that door frame, and it was taller, so they had cut off the top of the door so that it would fit in my door frame, and the top part wasn't cut very well, and you could actually, like, if you had a chair in my room, you could stand on it and kind of see through the gap and look into the kitchen. Um, and it was, like a really old door, and so there was like gaps around the edges of it that you know you could see light through if it was the light was on in the kitchen. And the door latch was broken, so like on the doorway, where the little metal thingy hooks onto, had like the screws had stripped away the wood, and it just kept falling off, and so the door wouldn't stay closed. And we had collies that would push the door open, so they'd brush up against it, and the door would kind of swing open a little bit. And so that was always happening to my room, and it was like, I don't know, 1:30 at night, or 1:30 in the morning, I guess. And sometimes my mom would forget to turn off the kitchen light, or I would go get something to drink or something and leave the light on accident and close my door behind me. Um, so I had seen that the light was on, and I didn't really think anything of it because usually my mom's asleep by then. And I was on the phone with someone on my cell phone, and we were having a conversation, and the I don't remember what we were talking about, but I said something. We were talking about one of my friends, and I said something about like, yeah, and he didn't even know I was gay or something like that. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I definitely said something like I'm gay in the conversation. And I turned around and my door was cracked open about like this far, and the light in the kitchen was on. And I was like, oh, no big deal. And then I heard dog food being dumped into the dog bowl. And usually when my mom gets the dog food ready, or puts it in their bowl, she puts the bowls on the counter that's like a foot and a half away from my door. So I was like, great. I just kind of like straight out said I'm gay with my mom like 3 feet away from me with nothing but open space. Uh, but she didn't say anything, so I don't know if she heard me or if she was distracted by what she was doing or like half asleep or something. But um, so there's definitely that direct possibility that she heard me tell someone. Um, and then another time, I think it might have been pretty close to the same time. I have a pride ring that it's pretty obvious what it is. I mean, you know what that symbol means. Um, it's not like you mistake it for something else. And so I usually wear that, and I've forgotten several times to take it off when I go over there, but usually when I go over there, I forget until right before I get there or right after I get there, and I take it off and a lot of times throw it in my pocket. Well, I had taken my keys with me, and back then I used to use a lanyard, and so my keys would kind of hang out of my pocket, and it would always hook on the door or the handle for the cabinets. And so one time that happened, and I was wearing like a pajama pants or like a sweatpants, something like that, and it pulled the keys out of my pocket and kind of inverted my pocket, and my ring fell out and landed on the floor, and I didn't know that. And so I was in my room one night, and my mom knocks on the door. She's like, "Is this yours? Is this like a wedding ring or something?" And I open the door, and she's standing there with my pride ring in her hand, just looking at me. And I'm like, and I just took it from her hand and closed the door because I didn't know what to say. And she just turned around and walked away. So I have no idea if she had any clue what it was. But sometimes, um, well, I think I'm going to stop this video for now and then continue it in part 2.